Socialization is so much more than giving your dog a chance to play with other dogs. Socialization is a process that your dog goes through over their first 4 months, where they determine what's safe in the world, what's not safe, what things they really like, what things they want to avoid in the future. After those 4 months, we can still socialize our dogs, but it's a lot more work on your part. So your dog is primed and ready to absorb everything around them during those first 4 months, so take advantage of it. One analogy I really like for socialization is how we develop our musical preferences. If we're exposed and taught to really enjoy and love music when we're young, many different styles, if we encounter a new style when we're older, we're more likely to embrace it than if, let's say, we're only exposed to one style of music when we were younger, let's say country, and we're then exposed to punk rock when we're older. It's going to be a lot harder to take a lot more time to get used to this new style of music, and you may never actually learn to enjoy it, maybe just tolerate it, or worse, choose to avoid it because you prefer so much having country music. So that's a good way to think about dogs. So why socialize our dogs? It allows them to really reach their full potential. It allows them to enjoy life. It allows you to enjoy your time with them. The better socialized your dog is, and the better obedience trained they are, the more situations you can have them accompany you, the more places you can take them. The crux of it, an under-socialized dog is at a great risk for anxiety behaviors as an adult, as well as aggression. And we don't usually see those fully appear until 2.5 years of age, or even a little bit older. We only have hints at this age. And the hints are if our dogs are hesitating, or being a little shy with people, or being a little shy with other dogs. I would start your dog's walks as soon as possible. If your dog's not fully humanized, you could avoid parks where many dogs frequent, but the risks would be pretty low for you to get out and take the dog up the street 1 or 2 houses and make a circuit around there a couple times so that your dog gets to observe what's part of their neighborhood, the sounds, the sights, the people, maybe even the other animals that are in the neighborhood. By the 12th week of your dog's life, it's important that they've met 12 people and had quality experiences with them, that they enjoyed themselves, that went much more beyond someone stopping on the street and patting them. Perhaps someone came over and played with them, or someone did a little bit of training with your dog, or fed them, or you visited them. And we want your dog coming away from those experiences that you are sure that the next time they see that person, they are going to be very eager to see that person again. Also, by the 12th week, we want to have 12 positive experiences with other dogs. So whether they played with another dog, they went for a walk with the other dog, and again, the next time your dog sees them, there's no hesitancy, that they're moving, that they're very eager to spend some time with those dogs. By 4 months of age, we want to have at least 100 experiences with other dogs and other people. And again, we're not going for just the dog tolerated the exchange experience with the other dog or other person, but they loved it and that they want to repeat it. That's what socialization is all about, because that's what's creating the buffer, that if that 101 person that they meet doesn't go so well, the dog gets a little overwhelmed, that your dog has a big buffer and say, oh, those last 100 people were pretty cool. I guess number 102, I'll give them a chance and go up to them and say hello. So my gold standard for socialization of your dog with other dogs is off-leash walks in the woods. If you don't feel comfortable with having your dog off-leash, then on-leash would be okay as well. And I just find there's such a quality to the experience, to the relationship when dogs spend time together this way, so much more than just meeting on leash as they pass by each other, or even having a play date and just wrestling. When your dog is meeting another person or another dog, take it at your dog's pace. If they want to hang back, let them hang back. It's better that they observed from a distance and felt comfortable and confident than that they were forced to be a little bit more closer than their comfort level allowed and came away from the experience wanting to avoid future situations that way. Remember, the goal is enjoyment, not tolerance, not avoidance. So let them just sit back and observe if that's where they're at that particular moment. Mouthing and biting is very normal for puppies. If your puppy was still with their litter mates, they would spend a lot of their time playing with their litter mates and mouthing and biting. Before we get into the different techniques that you can use to help with mouthing and biting, we need to step back and look at the big picture. First, our puppies need to have enough rest and enough exercise. If those two needs aren't met, then you're going to have an overtired dog, which is going to be that's going to mouth and bite some more. And if your dog isn't getting enough exercise, again, same thing, they're going to find some outlets for that extra energy that they have. Dogs need at least 17 hours of sleep a day, so make sure that your dog is getting some downtime to fully rest. For exercise, puppies at 2 months of age, I would be giving several walks a day, 10 minutes each. Once they're 3 months old, you can increase that by 10 minutes. So 20-minute walks 2 or 3 times a day. For 4 months, 30-minute walks 2 or 3 times a day. You can also find some daily rhythms with your dog. First thing in the morning, they're going to have a little extra energy. At that point, what I would do is feed them their meals instead of in their food bowl, give them to them in different food activity toys. So such as this is the Buster Cube. You put the food in the middle and the dog needs to push it around with their nose or paw to get the food out. The trick and treat ball is the same type of thing. And in the evening, often as the sun goes down, the dogs also get fairly rambunctious and not uncommon to almost even look a little bit aggressive as they race around, grabbing at everything that they can, jumping up on the furniture. So let's have a plan ahead of time. What I would do is do maybe a little bit of training with the dog, take them out for a walk. When you come back, then I would give them some rest in their crate, fill up a Kong with some dried dog food and maybe a little bit of wet dog food to keep them busy. And then we've avoided that situation when the dog gets a little bit more rambunctious, and we've given some positive outlets for that energy. So while we will be going over several different strategies in classes, I will give you some ideas of what you can start to do at home for mouthing and biting. First is make sure that you're not doing some things to encourage it, such as playing, taunting your dog with your hands when you play with them. Always have a toy in your hand so that you can get them to focus on the toy instead of your hands as a target. If you are playing with your dog and they do mouth and bite and it hurts, I would immediately yell, "Ow!" and turn and just freeze just for a moment. If the dog backs up then or pauses, then I would re-engage the play, but maybe tone it down a little bit. If the dog were to still re-engage and bite again, this time I would yell, "Ow!" and stand up if you were on the ground. And if the dog then chooses to keep coming at your feet or your hands, then I would walk right out of the room and close the door for 20 or 30 seconds. It's even more effective if everyone in the house, or everyone in the room gets up and walks out of the room. Now what we're doing here is your dog is trying to seek your attention. You're trying to make it very clear that this is not the way to seek attention and play with you. And by removing yourself, you're making sure that the dog is not being reinforced, rewarded with attention for not following the rules that you've established for playing with you. Notice we don't pick up the dog and hence give them attention and put them into an area as a timeout, as a punishment. We're getting up and we're leaving the dog.